Ho. Gidunamakunanim. Ninasa Sagajue, Gaboikwe, Lamasa Gamsqua, Kokagindakanesian. I'm Leslie Harper. I'm a member of the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe. I'm the president of the National Coalition of Native American Language Schools and Programs. That is a grassroots organization that is made up of Native American language immersion, schools and programs all around the U.S. We're a coalition that came together to advocate for the rights of Native American languages. Several years back, I was involved locally in helping to start and to build an Ojibwe language immersion school at Leech Lake, at our reservation within our communities. And that was one in which we used the Ojibwe language for all subjects. And English would not be introduced until 3rd or 4th grade, when it would be taught as a subject. We modeled that on some earlier efforts that were happening in Hawaii with Hawaiian language medium schools, that were happening in New York with Mohawk language immersion sites, as a way to reclaim time with our families and with our kids to revitalize our languages. There was like so much pressure that discouraged us from using our language because it looked different than education systems in English. And so it's really hard to go against those kind of institutional pressures when you're all alone and when you're doing something that's totally out of the norm. And so we reached out. We would reach out to each other across these state lines and across these, these language lines and say, what are you doing in your area that works? How are you facing down these pressures to teach in English when we really want to be providing an all native language environment for our kids and for our families? We were really informally organized for many years in the early 2000s, 2000 to 2010. And then there were more efforts for federal policy. So we started coming together to start advocating for our rights at a national level. In 1990, United States Congress itself passed this law called the Native American Languages Act, in which they made these really great statements in which US Congress finally took responsibility for all of the genocidal actions, all of the institutional pressures that they had pushed against Native American languages. And think of it, there's something like, almost 600 tribes, American Indian tribes across the US. There's the peoples of Hawaii, the Native Hawaiians and their language. There are all of the Alaska Native languages up in that area. There are the the Marianas Territories and the Chamorro language. There are all these places where the United States came in and colonized and worked intently to wipe out languages. And we're somewhat successful in a lot of areas. So when we got down to operating our schools, operating our childcare sites, our daycare sites in our languages, and saying, we can get public funding for this. We want the same funding that English schools get for educating our kids in English. They haven't been doing a great job for a long time. We're going to try this, and this is our right under the Native American Languages Act. So that's been kind of the rallying, or the umbrella of the effort of the National Coalition of Native American Language Schools and Programs. And every word in that whole big long title of our organization is really necessary. we say Native American languages because that's a legal definition, and that brings us all together so we know exactly what populations we're talking about. Native American languages. We've linked it to a piece of public policy, a really positive piece that is, really optimistic, and we say put teeth into that law. And some of our language immersion sites are schools. Some of them are their own school on their own. Some of them are merged with another school. Some of them are a charter school, or they might be a track in a school, so they might be a program. Some are childcare sites, but these are all places in which a local Native American language speaking community has said, our kids are going to be in this compulsory space, right? Why don't we reclaim it and use our language, promote our language, really promote our own localized culture, our own Native American way of understanding and being, and make sure that we too are being responsible to carry this forward and to generate new life in our language and our culture.
Having formally been established in 2014, the National Coalition of Advocates have been informally meeting for more than 20 years.